Over the years, one of the worst things to be called in the music industry is an industry plant. No matter if the music good or not, people gonna look at you kind of crazy for being an industry plant. So who are some artists who have been exposed over the years as an industry plant? Let's find out. One example is Kid Leroy. He popped into the game years ago and it was really like out of nowhere. One day we ain't know who he was. The next day he would Juice WRLD all the time. Leroy been interested in music for a long time. I'm talking about all the way back when he was 11, 12, he was making music. So back then he ain't had no income, no way to really sit around and record music. So he would get on his mama phone and record music off there whenever she would let him. And so for a minute, Leroy was just trying to lock in and make all this music. You know, with any career, it can't be done alone. So as he 12 years old making his music, someone else would come into the picture. But it's someone who was always in the picture, someone who would lead him in the right direction. His parents, but mostly his mom. So his mama had her own thing going on and she was a talent scouter. Now, was she this big scouter with connections to all around the industry? We don't know, because Leroy was saying around this time, him and his family ain't had funds like that. Or at least his mom ain't had funds like that. His dad is a different story. Leroy Pop's named Nick Howard, a man who done got some real deep ties to the music industry. His dad deep in the game. He done work with all kind of artists from all across the world. But Leroy say he wasn't close with his dad at all throughout his life. And on top of that, they stayed across the country from each other. So to be fair, it wasn't a lot of contact between the two. But his dad still got ties into that music industry business. But back to the story. He coming up making his music, and as he in the middle of all that, he finds somebody to work with. And Leroy DMs him. Now, did his mom find him because she was a scouting agent? Or did 12, 13-year-old Leroy find him? We once again don't know, because as you gonna find out, he likes to hide his past. But Leroy found a man named Marcus. He hit him up on IG. And so he get in contact with Marcus, and from this moment forward, they was locked in. He was looking out for Leroy, but it was a problem. Marcus stayed hours away from Leroy, and Leroy was so young at the time, he couldn't take himself. So he had no way to get there other than his mom. But how could she even do that if they was broke? Leroy claimed she could barely make ends meet, but would have her drive 5 to 6 hours to Marcus every week. Once again, something questionable, but somehow they made it work out. It was weekends, any free time Leroy had, he would go down there with Marcus and they would start making his music. They'd be locked in. And then on top of that, Marcus was just letting bro in the studio for free. Marcus believed in him. Marcus believed he had potential. All he wanted to do was help out this new artist, this kid that's just trying to make some music. So for a minute, they locked in, and at one point even made a rap group together that went by the name Dream Team, that was managed by, guess who? Leroy's mom. And so at this point, they doing shows, making music, getting buzz, people eyes on them, or eyes on just one of them, kid Leroy. Marcus was behind the scenes really making all the moves, and Leroy was thriving. And one set of eyes was a man named DJ Siggy. And this man was locked in. I'm talking about he got taps into all these radio stations across Australia, where Leroy is from, and he wanted to work with Leroy. And so one day Leroy gets an invite to come out to the studio. So him, Marcus, and his mom go out there. And at first, Ziggy wasn't there. They met someone else, so it was seeming like Ziggy wasn't gonna come. And at that same time, Marcus had some family things going on. So he head back home thinking everything cool, thinking that Leroy and his mom was gonna go home after him. He leaves and goes home, but Leroy and his mama stay there. And we don't know what was said, but something must have been said to him, because after Marcus went home, he didn't hear from Leroy and his mama for months. He got abandoned. Turns out, Ziggy was messing with Leroy and basically gave him this opportunity to be around all these high quality producers, engineers, potential radio play, basically passed him a whole package while Marcus was gone. And so Leroy and his mama seen this and they ran with it, leaving Marcus behind. The one who put Leroy in the exact position he was in, they left him behind and never looked back. To this day, Leroy act like Marcus don't exist in every single interview he do. Anytime he brings up something Marcus did for him, it's just, oh, this guy let me in the studio. This guy helped me make some of this music. So he don't even acknowledge him. He don't name drop him ever. But Leroy get locked in with DJ Z. And they working together. Basically made his whole debut project. But in the middle of all that, Marcus was still lost. He calling him all the time, texting him, just trying to get in contact, but nobody responded to him. Until one day, out the blue, Leroy mama hit him up, basically on some take everything down with my son, or we gonna get some lawyers involved. And he seen this, probably like, what's going on? Like, I done helped y'all so much, and you talking about delete everything. And he was probably panicking. He probably ain't had the money for all that. So he did it. She told that nigga, take everything down my son, or it's gonna be some problems. And so he scrubbed the internet clean, and it's basically impossible to find anything the two had going on. Only reason we know about it today is because Hella Yassine got in touch with Marcus himself. And so it's looking like where Leroy linked up with Ziggy, who got a radio station with Sony Music. They passed him a deal with Sony Music, and that record label wanted his past removed from everywhere. And so they did just that. And for a minute, he was locked in with Ziggy. He was getting managed by him, doing shows with him. Ziggy was just trying to put Leroy in the right places at the right time, and he did a good job at that. And one day, Juice had a show in Leroy area, and they needed an act, so he got in touch with Leroy, and they do the show. People are people. They started talking and got close and actually started building a relationship. And that turned from him just being friends with Juice WRLD to making music with him and really locking in with the whole Grade A crew, a label Juice was signed to and close with. Also, the same label Leroy would get on. But there was a big detail about this whole story I ain't even speak on yet. All the way back when Leroy was 12 and was in the studio, a Grammy-nominated producer happened to be in there at the same time, Khaled Roham. He seen Leroy in there and said, I saw this kid standing in the corner in the back of one of the studios. And he was young, and I'm asking him, what is you doing out here at this time of night? He like, I make music. I'm a rapper. Roham told him, let me hear something. Roham said he played me 4 songs. I was blown away. I was like, you better than all the writers I work with. At the age you are now, you better than all of them. Now, if Leroy got tapped in with this producer back when he was 12, it ain't no surprise that he is as big as he is today. How do y'all feel about this? I think the main reason people's tripping on all that is because he tried to clear everything up and hide his whole past and make it seem like he ain't had Marcus by his side. The biggest problem with everything though is, remember how I said Hello Yassine made that vid with that info from Marcus? Well, Leroy label strike the video. They strike Yassine whole video. It got took down. It did get put back up later though after they started getting hate. But if they was going this far to get his past locked up, imagine what they could have had going on. But someone whose situation just as crazy gotta be Lil Mabu. He started rapping years ago. At first, it wasn't nothing like how he is today. Back when he first started, he was just rapping about money, getting females, and basically on the track bragging. But time goes on, and instead of his career working out, it wasn't. He was starting to realize that this wasn't gonna work out for real, and he had to do something different. So he turned to the antics. Mabu turned into this drill rapper. He went from making music about whatever to getting on the beat, talking real crazy, talking that street talk, while his image on the other hand don't match what he's talking about at all. His whole image is how he's some young scholar white dude, and he rapping on the beat about killing people. He on songs talking about he got one in the head if his ops dissing. But at the same time he rapping about this, he got a whole marketing scheme going on where he making it seem like, I said before, he this school student. But it's a problem with all that. He wasn't nothing like the person he was online trying to be. Turns out his pops, more likely than not, had something to do with his success. At the start of his blow up, people all across the industry was calling Mabu a being this industry plan. They was saying he was the son of some record label owner named Jeffrey Bond. But as time went on, people found out that wasn't the case. His dad may have not been in the industry, but his dad is a man who go by the name Peter DeLuca. And his dad ain't no regular man. I'm talking about he touching some money. His pops is a funeral director, but where his money was really coming from some years back. He won a settlement that was around $10 million in property, and he must have moved that money right, because people done found out Mabu grew up in a 5-bedroom, 5-bathroom house in the good side of New York while he on these beats rapping about killing people. That wasn't it though. His pop had the funds to put Mabu in a situation to where if he wanted to be in his music game, he was gonna be in there. And I say this because years ago, Mabu was always involved with these rappers. Even before he himself was a rapper, he was a marketer. He would reach out to these artists. He'd be like, look, I can get your music out there. I can get eyes on it. And so he started to get tapped in with these rappers. Now, how did he get in the position to be surrounded with all these artists? We don't know exactly, but what we can kind of do is connect the dots. His pops got the money. He want to be in this rap space. Would it really be a surprise if his dad pulled some strings to get him surrounded with all these artists? We don't know. But one thing I'm not going to do is take away the work Mabu did put in himself when it came to marketing with these artists. He was locked in. He claimed he worked with 42 Doug, Lil Key, Rest in Peace, and many other artists. And so he was gaining knowledge about the rap game, so it would only make sense he would use it to his advantage. Now, do I respect what he do in the music area? That's another story. Glorifying death in the worst side of the hip hop space do seem weird to me when you yourself was never a part of that life. But at the same time, glorifying it in general is not right. But for you to not have no connection to it, make it worse. Some of these rappers just be rapping what they lived through, while you on the beat putting on this obvious facade. One artist who ain't really put on the facade and played into the whole industry plant thing is a man that went by the name Ian Dior. Years ago, he popped onto the scene. And when I say popped onto the scene, I mean it. He literally came out of nowhere. His first few songs pulling hundreds of thousands of views. He got all these internet money producers all over him. He getting his songs reposted to dozens of promotional channels. But to make it all worse, he gets on IG saying, I ain't even been dropping for a month yet. So let's think about it. He ain't been dropping for a month yet, and in 16 days, he rapped on 3 different Nick Muir beats, a producer who really put Juice WRLD on the map. Every song he dropped got hundreds of thousands of streams, and the music itself was high quality. Now tell me, this don't sound a little strange, because it was. This was not the first month he had been dropping music. It go way farther than that, way back years.
End of the summer? End of the summer. Everybody's gonna know who Omo is, I promise you. Everywhere.
Back during the time of this clip, he went by the name Omo and was dropping music for a minute. During this time, kind of putting eyes on him. And eventually, someone did see him. Internet money. They seen him and locked in with him. Kind of exactly like what happened with Leroy. And once again, they started scrubbing his past off the internet and rebranded him as this whole different artist, Ian Dior. And so this kind of bring us full circle back to when he made that post and he was saying it was his first month making music. What he really meant was this was his first month making music with internet money. And the second he started working with internet money, he started to get all these cosigns from FaZe Clan and all these influencers.
With what we got. I do want to refer back to my boy Ian. He's going to be around a lot, especially in the videos. He makes music. We've all been using him. He's been in Tifu's videos. Alyssa's been slapping him. Rice, the Nelk Boys. We all just this kid and ship this kid, and he's relatively new to the scene, so we've just had him over the house a few times. Makes great music. I'm gonna put his SoundCloud in the description. I know you guys like new music. I know you guys like seeing like cool clothes and stuff that maybe you didn't know about before, so just for no other reason than the fact that he's dope, I want you guys to keep him up.
He was basically locked in with hundreds of influencers. And so people started looking at it kind of weird how this artist that just popped up tapped in with all these people. And when people started to put their industry plant title on him, he played into it. I'm talking about so many industry plant allegations, he dropped the whole tape name Industry Plant. And really from that moment forward, he was known as an industry plant. And like I said at the start of my video, just because someone in the industry plant don't mean they can't disappear. Kind of like my other video where I find out what happened to some artists who came from TikTok and where they really went. And that video is on screen right now.